Man, this is so dirty. And the dirtiest thing about it is that I saw at least probably 5 opportunities where I would have taken the chance to attack because it was in my books like good enough. The one-timer to Gilmore was good enough. The slap shot across the crease was good enough. But the way you just kind of kept waiting for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that's even though these are good teams, they're not great teams. You can't just necessarily overpower a goalie like Soderstrom. So you have to be a little bit more precise with some of this stuff. So this is one of the different plays where I'm actually having to do a zone entry, and it's one of those zone entries again where you want to build it to the outside, build that speed, get that space. So I think that's one really important part about attacking these slot clogging defenses, just having that good zone entry to get outside and buy yourself the space and time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see how you do that here. So you got Gilmore, which is nice. He's a great puck handler. Now you didn't take this opportunity to just skate right in. You kind of swoop back and forth and do it a little bit slower. Is that just waiting for your team to follow you?
Just waiting for my team, and also you had a defender there that could have cut me off possibly.
Yep.
And I feel like this is a much better zone entry where I have all sorts of space, and now I can have my center come into the slot to be an option for a one-timer. And I also have an option to do an EA special. I can cut in, do a slap shot. I could just come down the wing and take space. I mean, the world is my oyster here.
Right, and look at all this. I mean, I don't know where Philly is, but you've got the whole half of the ice here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you drive it in, and then you kind of wait and see what's happening. So this guy peels off a little bit, so you know you've got some time just to kind of hang out.
Yeah, so just kind of hang out, buy some time, go around the net, give it to a better puck handler here in Borshevsky.
Okay.
He's a better playmaker. He's a little bit better skater. I just prefer to have him work the half court offense as opposed to Clark.
All right, so defender got it, gave it back to Ellett. Oh, another good skater, good shot as well.
Yep, and I see Clark sort of going towards the half board, so I try and get that passing lane, and it's right on his tape. It's not in his skates or anything weird.
Look at this defensive shit show we got going on. All these skaters are looking towards these two, and they're going to be coming all towards the left.
Yeah, so I know I got a wave of guys coming at me, and I can't pass it off to anybody because everybody's covered. So it's just eat it in the boards, and if you lose it, you lose it. If you don't, then maybe something better comes up.
Okay, so in your head, right, as this pass coming and you see all these guys coming, are you thinking right now that you're going to go behind the net again, or are you thinking you're going to try to just kind of put it toward those boards and see what happens?
Go towards the board, see what happens, because I'm not even facing towards behind the net. It'd take me a long time to kind of get around to it. So I try to buy myself a time, do a little dipsy doodle, and then I'll evaluate see if I can go around the boards, which I do here.
Okay, so you bounced off the one defender because, like, again, in this defensive style, I'm not going to be that guy. If I was that guy, I would beat check you and you'd likely fall over. But I've got the guy that I want, and I want to clog the slot. Because if I don't, sometimes nobody will. So you bounce off the AI. That's good. Now you go back behind the net again.
So and again, just give it to Borshevsky.
Okay, so that's what you're trying to do here. You like Borshevsky better as a puck handler than Clark. You want Clark to be able to be there on the left side here for the one timer.
Yeah, he's a much better one-timing option. I kind of want him to get back onto his side of the ice. It's going to take him a little while because he's behind the net. He's got a couple things in his way. But time is what I have on my side. I mean, there's no rush to break this down.
Yep. Okay, so what does Borshevsky do here? So you go net drive a little bit, and you get stopped here by my guy in the slot, which is pretty typical. It's going to be hard to crack that slot.
Yep, and I try to turn away so I don't get that random puck bounce off my stick. So I maintain possession here, and I find that little bubble I can just work within, and there's nobody really coming after me.
See, so Gilmore propped up here. I mean, he's not. What's his shot power?
4. He's a 4 shot power, 4 accuracy.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I play with Toronto a lot. I would have taken this for sure. This to me is too juicy with the goalie like way on the right side, and he's Gilmore left-handed shot. That looks to me like it's money in the bank. You decided not to. Any particular reason?
It could be money in the bank, but he's a little bit higher in the slot. Like if he's closer to the top of the face-off circles, like right where you're pointing, right there. If he's there, I'm all about it.
Okay.
He's a little bit further out. That shot power against Soderstrom, I'm not in love with it. So, again, I got time.
Yeah. So you stop. This guy comes. You circle back. So again, now you're skating back towards, going around. Okay, so the purpose of this, the pass to the D and then straight back. Are you trying to get his defenders to get away from the slot?
Yeah, I want to see how they react, and they didn't really do a whole lot because that was kind of probably too quick.
Let's see what happens here. So, did they do anything? Okay, so you got one guy out, which is basically that's basically all you needed, right?
Yeah, and even the guy right next to him kind of cleared out as well. He
Yeah.
left open the slot, and now both of your defenders. I'm not really sure
Yeah.
where
That,
your
I mean,
guy's going.
this is really the key part of the play here.
You probably think I'm going behind the net, so you try and cut that off because you think, oh, I got two guys in the slot. They're cutting them off, but no,
Yeah. No, I sort
it,
of
it
just
changed real quick.
yeah, I mean, this is the key part of the play here that anyone that's looking to break down this style of defense needs to keep this play specifically in their repertoire because when you've got it in this safe spot in the side here and you've got a defender that's wide open here, if you do a quick pass back and forth, you're basically going to vanish one or two of these guys that's going to head out to the point to cover it. And then
Yep.
when you do, that opens up this space here to drive the slot better.
And they didn't even move that much because that,
No, not
like,
really.
they are still pretty well in the slot. They just lost their angle, they lost their direction, and now they're not really facing towards the danger area of Wendell Clark, who's now eventually worked back to where I wanted him to, which is why I have
Finally.
Borshevsky as the playmaker.
Yeah. Okay, so let's watch it one more time. Boom, easy. He's on. He does a backhand one-timer, which doesn't work in real NHL too well, but in NHL'94 it works just just swell. So yeah, any final closing thoughts then about this style of D and maybe how it could potentially be modified against, like does it have use? I think is the question I want to ask.
I think this absolutely has use up until a very high level of play. I mean, I could be frustrated by this defense if it's used correctly. It has to kind of find the balance of using the appropriate player on your team in terms of what position they are and where I'm trying to attack you from the ice. Like say I'm using this, say you're using a right winger, I might use
Yeah,
my point on the right a little bit more, like I did on that last play, because McCown's just now wide open. I can try and manipulate the rest of your defense to move up towards McCown, who's not going to have the immediate pressure because your right winger is gone. So it's just a matter of identifying who you're playing against and what player they're using to try and stop you. Also, you want to try and be very aware of what passes you are making. You want them to be forehand to forehand as best you can. You want them to just be clear, open lanes so that you can receive it cleanly because in this game the puck can bounce off your stick at a moment's notice. And so those forehand to forehand passes help mitigate that risk. You also want to be able to identify who you want to pass it to relatively quickly if need be. So don't just plan one pass ahead. If you can see maybe two or three, try and do that at some point because you might see, like on that last play right there, I had an option to go to Elliott across the blue line, and I could have gone back to Clark because he would have been wide open there as well. So just kind of see where your passes are, who's open, where the defenders are kind of shading towards. So those are the things I'm looking at when I'm trying to break down these defenses, and it can be frustrating. It is frustrating, but with enough patience and with enough of a game plan ahead of time of what you want to attack, you can be successful.
okay. Yeah, I don't I feel like I play a modified style of this. I'm not I just can't sit there. I for some reason like I cannot just sit in the slot while the guy dances and makes his plans around me. I'm I'm constantly like I'll come block the slot and then I'm like selectively attacking when I feel like if he tries to skate behind and I know I've got an angle to cut him off and I've got say McGillney and I know that I can
Yeah.
just absolutely smash him into the boards, I'm gonna make that play. I'm not sitting in the slot. But I've noticed there's some players that will just sit there almost no matter what you do unless you specifically come like between the hash marks and the top of the circles, and they're really just clogging it up.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the invitation to skate around, find those quiet areas, like use the back of the net, use the sidewall. They're there for a reason. You don't have to push everything towards the slot immediately. Take the first pass that you think might work. You can usually identify something a little bit better because the AI in this game isn't perfect on defense. It can be manipulated a little bit, and um, you're almost not even worried about the person clogging the slot because that's all they're doing. You know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's breaking down the other rest of the team and creating 2-on-1s or situations where maybe someone's take a manual goalie and they overcommit and you just take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah, that's the trouble that I find with this style of defense when I play it myself is obviously a B check is the most effective check in hockey when you're playing with penalties on NHL'94, or a poke check, which ends up acting like a body check. And so, but sometimes the problem with that is if you don't happen to be the closest guy to him, you'll end up switching players instead of making that poke check. And now this whole defense is shot because now you're constantly pressing B, trying to find the right player again because you don't want to have your defender. You want your defenders to be free to police their area. So it ends up just getting to be total chaos at that point.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I noticed about the B check is it has the least amount of range, whereas a C check you're actually going towards the player.
Yeah.
So I would try personally to buy myself a little bit of space if I know a guy's a B check person.
Yep.
I won't get as close to them as possible because I don't want to get in their range
Right.
of being able
So
to defend me.
now, when I was defending here, I was kind of doing it a little bit more basic, just so that we could demonstrate this. But I may have been like if I was doing this in a real game, I may have been more aggressive towards your guys posting up in center. I may have been C checking or even A to hold if I thought that they were in a really good spot. Now, in that regard, all that you would do differently is just kind of uh, you know circle around and just wait for them to stand up again, right?
To stand up
Yeah,
again.
let's say I knock down Sandstrom in the slot.
Oh, okay.
So you're just gonna make a couple passes or skate around, just waiting for him to stand and get set back up, right? I mean, it's not
Yeah,
like an extra
absolutely.
10 seconds really does much to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I lose the puck in the corner, or
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing bad that can happen if you have the puck in the other team's zone. They can't score on you from there.
right.
It's if you give them a chance to counter you, that's how they score. So it's which mistakes do you want to make? Do you want to make a pass that's ill-advised, or just lose the puck in the corner when you're all by yourself?
Yeah,
Um,
there's so
so
many
that's kind of my
parallels.
mindset.
Yeah, there's so many parallels to real NHL in this game. It's crazy that 26 years ago these guys created this game, and it's still you see a lot of the game theory that exists in NHL today about smart passes, puck control, attack zone time, setting up, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just bringing more X's and O's in this game. I mean, this game's going to evolve in this matter. I mean, hopefully people can take something from what we're doing here and apply it to break these defenses down that have been causing so much frustration. Instead of just kind of keep throwing things at the fire and seeing what works. Let's
Yeah.
hopefully build up a plan, put some sense into this. You know, kind of make it Roger Nielsen, like get the tape out, drop some X's and O's, and go. We're going to pass the puck this. We're going to pass the puck this way if they
Yeah.
react one way or another. And as you do this more and more, you're not going to start out perfect just doing this. I mean, this
Oh,
is
yeah, of course not.
what I've been doing for years, and even the back passes to the defense and working the sidewall. I've been trying to work on that just this entire calendar year to try and make that a more effective tool to tear these defenses apart. Because yeah, it can be really frustrating. I've been frustrated just as much as anybody else with these defenses, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think there's a way to attack them.
especially against a team like Boston when you've got Bork back there and someone picks say they take Neely, right? So you've got Neely as controlled by a human player, and then you've got Bork who just polices his area back on defense and will just level anything that comes near him.
Yeah, and that's a situation where I may try to just stay away from Bork's side. I might even put if I'm so inclined, I might put my playmaker on the other guy's side just so I don't have to deal with it. Because,
Uh,
like I said, you want to try to stay away from those boards. The computer's really good at knocking you down, especially Bork
yeah,
because
yeah,
he's just a madman out there, just trying to nail everybody. So, yeah, I mean, know who you're playing against too. I mean, yeah, Don Sweeney's not exactly a walk in the park, but he's not Ray Bork.
right. Totally. Okay. Well, hey, man, thanks. This production took us a couple hours to work out. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and give some of your insights because it's been multiple people that have asked me about this. They said like, I've never experienced this before. These guys they just go sit in the slot and they're like they don't know what to do because they got all this free time and they're so used to just making these bang bang plays that they don't
Mm,
understand about how to get set up, what a pass in a certain area will do. Where can they go that are the safe spaces on the ice? You've showed them the one on the top of the blue line where you've got your defender, and then there's also obviously the other one down in the corners where you can sort of go back and forth, and the computer doesn't know which guy to attack you with. So, hey, I really appreciate you taking a couple hours out of your night to do this with me, and I hope everybody else appreciates it as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to help, and hopefully people can take something away from this. And if anybody else has any questions regarding this subject or even another one in the future, I'm an open book. I'm willing to help anybody, and if we can do this again, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Cool. All right. Well, Angry J'93 and Dan TML7 signing off. Once again, if you're looking to play some NHL 94 with some buds, head over to NHL'94online.com. You got the download package there. And you can join us on the Discord chat where you can find exhibition games, join the next season or any type of playoffs or tournaments that we do. And we hope to see you on the ice soon. Thanks for watching.